mean it.
Are you interested in buying Bitcoin?
I don't understand what you're saying, but I guarantee you I know how to use it. Drop your weapon!
Where did you get these eggs?
On our last stop?
At Starbase 73?
Yeah.
What kind of eggs did you say these were?
They're really tarred testicles.
You Beta?
Worf will love those too, I guess.
Hey man, if you can't stomach target testicles, are you really a Klingon?
On our last stop?
At Starbase 73?
It's a rite of passage.
What kind of eggs did you say these were?
Horta eggs. See, it's a TOS callback.
Hey!
You Beta?
That sounds like a shy porn special.
I can't believe I let him get to me. Not your fault. Genetically engineered or not.
Only I'm the one the writers said could suffer.
Brian.
Not your fault. Genetically engineered or not.
Klingons have two and we only have one. Worf is adding the lengths together. He's such a cheetah.
Let's get a drink.
This won't be much of a briefing. There's nothing new to report.
Worf?
Humor me.
All right, let's see.
Janeway's still not returning your calls. Seven is trying to create a collective out of the Roombas, and Harry won't stop trying to learn the sax.
Thanks. Humor me.
All right, let's see.
Tom still isn't cutting it in the bedroom, and 23 engineers were needed to clean up that mess you made in Holodeck 2.
Thanks.
Rude.
This won't be.
Mr. Worf? No, sir. It is the Gorge. Gorge.
Puberty, sir. He's growing his second penis too.
For fuck's sake.
One.
Have you
I
been
bet
in a
there'll be
fight,
another
Mr.
one.
Worf? No, sir. It is the Gorge. Gorge.
He ran into stars at a convention. Security had to jump in. There's a restraining order now.
Not me
It
for
was a whole
once.
thing.
I didn't throw myself under the bus once. Thank you, whoever was that. I appreciate you keeping the gag going.
No, sir. It is the Gorge. Gorge.
It's a young Balak. It'll sprout soon.
What the fuck?
Have you been in a fight, Mr. Worf? No, sir. It is the Gorge. Gorge.
Splashback from the twin dongs, sir.
Oh. Alright.
Oh.
Have you been in a fight, Mr. Worf?
There we go.
I've got 3.
Okay, not a wolf dick joke. I'll allow it.
I heard a rumor that you took a restraining order against the stars. Oh, I guess the rumor was true. Sorry, too soon. Too soon. Mitchell sucks also.
We're getting all the best, all the greatest.
All the
hits, I
meta
guess.
references
Yeah.
in it once.
Hey, if you're not busy, can you get me a Ractogino?
That one was yeah, no, that.
I had Deanna for like 6 seasons before you.
Wow.
Deanna got sick of the twin dongs and came crawling back to MW.
MW.
Alright,
Yeah,
we are
okay.
banning
Yeah.
twin dong references from now on.
The code for the tactical station is up, up, down, down, left, right, B, A, then star. Got it?
Dude, this was a really good final round.
This is a good one.
His rant, don't worry about
It's customary on Earth to greet someone with a handshake.
We typically just commit diplomatic faux pas, punch Andorians, and a little light genocide, but I can tell we're no match for you, Captain Archer.
Thanks.
Alright.
It's customary on Earth to greet someone with a handshake.
Can I have some hand sanitizer?
Thanks. It's customary on Earth to greet someone with a handshake.
Well, it's customary on our planet to greet others with
come
double dog
on.
shakes, but apparently
Yeah,
that's frowned
there we
upon
go.
amongst your people.
Low
So,
hanging
nice
fruit.
hair.
Just like the stuff behind
Thanks.
the double dongs.
It's customary on Earth to greet someone with a handshake.
And when does the captain get here? Mine's a Ractogino.
Thanks.
Okay, yeah, that was very good.
I didn't bring my trombone this time.
First time for everything.
Is that a gourd?
First time for everything.
I've got 3.
First time for everything.
Ben popped in the chat and wasn't just trying to hype some disappointing news.
Oh, nice.
Oh,
Very nice.
Did you like best?
oh, that's harsh. Oh, I feel bad inside.
I want this one.
Are you sure? He comes with a lot of cross-cultural baggage and is in a middle love triangle with this bearded one
None of
over
this
here.
is incorrect.
Plus daddy issues.
I'm sure.
Wait, he's talking.
I'm sure,
He's saying
but I
this
have
about
decided I
himself?
want this
No, it's
Lieutenant
Picard.
Worf. Is that a problem?
Not for me. But you better take this.
Serious expression on their face.
Why?
Phasers don't work after the Borg remodulate their shields, and why am I the only person on the show WHO knows this?
Yeah, no, the look on her face saying that line perfect.
Not for me. But you better take this.
When are we getting her in the big Goliath collection?
Oh yeah.
Why?
If you see a gorge, you have 3 minutes before it becomes a double dong joke. Shoot first.
Well done.
But you better take this.
Why?
You've just taken a job in WRG quality assurance and customer relations. Trust me, you'll need it.
Everyone's. Data, what's the last thing that you remember?
Tasha was pretty memorable.
Oh boy.
Data, what's the last thing that you remember?
When I woke up in a nightgown with my best voyage ring.
That was pretty good.
Data, what's the last thing that you remember?
I woke up in an alley without my head.
Oh, love that
From the
Time
mission.
Tower reference.
Data, what's the last thing that you remember?
I seem to recall Tasha telling me to open up the kit and attach something that vibrates.
From the mission.
He said keep it clean.
Data,
What was the
what's
threshold?
last thing that you remember?
Being #1 Voyager.
No, never.
Which dub did you
Okay,
like
okay.
best?
Investment and instruction, sir.
Remember to take that off before you see data. I need him fully functional.
Data.
That's where Ben
Investment
gets
and
it from.
instruction, sir.
Don't get too close to that oily blob. People will prank call it later on.
Oh, spoilers for Lower Decks.
Investment and instruction, sir.
Pointy thing bad. Also, you may want to call your agent.
Investment and instruction, sir.
You have to finish before this episode is removed from all streaming platforms.
Starting strong
Investment
here.
and instruction, sir.
Think of your proficiency rolls. You've got this.
I like
These
that.
are all good.
That's really good.
Investment and instruction, sir.
Your finest moment will be how bad you were nerfed.
Oh.
These are good. These are good.
Vote.
Oh my word. I can't choose.
I have a
Is
soft
yours.
spot for people who try to work in the game to their answers.
Wow.
Yeah.
Where were you last night?
I decided to turn in early.
Well, you didn't miss much.
What'd they show?
Phlox wouldn't stop running the decon room tapes over and over again.
I bet he has them too, that creeper.
Where were you last night?
I decided to turn in early.
Well, you didn't miss much.
What'd they show?
A Timelines Talks episode without stars.
Oh.
Alright, Stars wrote
Where
that
were
one.
you last night?
Nice.
I decided to turn in early.
Well, you didn't miss much.
What'd they show?
Tribbles evoke feelings of affection.
There's a callback.
I decided to turn in early.
Well, you didn't miss much.
What'd they show?
The captain's best variant voyage score.
Not bad.
Where were you last night?
I decided to turn in early.
Well, you didn't miss much.
Ooh, hello everybody. We are here. Can you hear me? Is the sound on? Yes, the sound is on. You can hear me. Hello, everybody. We're here to watch some Lost in Translation. Oh no, what's happened to my layouts? Every week, there's always something goes slightly different, slightly wrong. There we go. Anyway, hello. We're joined by Cranky this week. Stars is supposed to be here. He's feel a bit tardy, but yeah, I imagine he'll be soon. I've just seen him popping offline and online, so I'm wondering if he's having some sort of trouble. But hopefully, Stars will be here at some point. We're gonna watch some Lost in Translation. No, I'm not talking about the 2003 Bill Murray Scarlett Johansson film, although we could watch that if you really want to.
Well, I'm going then. I thought that's what we were watching.
I'd watch anything with Scarlett Johansson in. No, okay, just me. Okay. Anyway, yes, we are here to watch some Lost in Translation. We need to have a discussion, Cranky, because me and Stars last week absolutely gushed over charades, and we thought, wow, Universal, who could hate this episode? Then you came on and said just like, nah, I didn't like it.
Yeah.
Why didn't you like it?
I didn't hate it.
Okay.
But it didn't do it for me.
Interesting. But did you like Spock Amok?
Yes, kind of.
Because this kind of definitely felt.
I don't think it was one of the strongest episodes.
Okay, that's interesting. It's not. I'm not having a go. I'm not saying your opinion is wrong or anything like that, because, like, you know, everyone's entitled to their own interpretation of what they want. But it was just interesting after, you know, me and Stars are in a little bubble, just kind of going, "Oh my god, it's like the best Star Trek ever." So you just come in and go, "Nah, shit."
Yeah. No, I did. I had a lot of issues with it. It's pretty much the second that they went, "Oh, Spock's human," I kind of went, "Oh, here we go."
Human time.
It felt like kind of lazy, right? Like they're picking the low hanging fruit.
It's I get what you mean with that, because it does feel like a kind of 90s Trek trope. You know, it's same with like what was it, Faces? Was it Faces where they split Blanatoris into two, into a human half and a Klingon half?
Yeah.
It kind of felt like one step away from that, and that is a kind of a reused trope. But I suppose Strange New Worlds has kind of been all about the reused tropes, really, hasn't it?
I mean, I kind of complained at the time about it being not a very, I don't know, the whole theme of it being a bit absurd. But then, I mean, you think back to the original series, and they stole Spock's brain, and Kirk drove him round as a robot on it.
Yeah. My God, man, his brain is gone.
So it does kind of fit with the theme, really.
Yeah. All right, let's set up. We'll let Stars do catch up if he turns up. I'm kind of hoping he will. But I did drop this last minute. We were going to do this Monday, and then my wife went out and got very drunk last night, and she has a hangover, so our original plans for tonight were scuppered. So I was just like, should we do it tonight? Because it makes more sense, because it's a weekend, and then I don't have to rush on a Monday. So, and of course, I just let everyone in stream know as well. It's like, we're doing it tonight, son it. Let's go. Right, let me set up. Right, let's get the... I need to open the episode, don't I? That would probably help. So you've seen this one. You watched this earlier, didn't you?
I watched this earlier today, yeah.
Hey. Strange New Worlds. Right, let's boot you up. Hey, you don't want to see that. Right, there we go. Oh, and I need to not send this through to the stream, which I'm not. Huzzah! Because we can't have those copyright violations on us. Oh, no. Right, let me expand this. Probably Star's going to come in and break the whole thing, but never mind.
We've had multiple stars again.
Oh my god, yeah, I need to clip that out. The one we're shot. That was just before Strange New World started, and just everyone kept duplicating. That was utter madness.
Shotty doing his dance.
Hello, my darling. Hello, my baby. Hello, my ragtime gal. Right, I just need to go to another screen. There we go. Let's go. Color source 2, show name up. Sorry, I'm just going to flick things around a little bit here. Right, let us load. Oh, that's right. I need to turn the time code on over here, so it's ready. Yeah, so that's ready there. Cool. Right. Ready your playlists, gentlemen, for we shall be beginning in... I'm just double checking I've got everything right here. Yeah, right. We should be beginning in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Engage. Yay. Oh, and if you're going to hear screaming, my children are up. School holidays are broke, so they're allowed to be up later now.
Yep. Before we get in, I'll apologise to anyone watching or listening as well for if I'm sniffling or sneezing. I do have a cold at the moment.
Yeah, my cough's here. Hey, Stars!
Hello, sorry about that.
That's all right.
Been having a lot of technical issues, but I'm doing all right. How are you guys?
Yeah, we're good. We're good.
Yeah. Apart from suffering with a cold, I'm all good.
Everybody's dying, Dave.
I'm glad. Everybody's dying, Dave. Everybody is dead, Dave.
Okay. Well, luckily, we've just started, so... I asked Cranky about his terrible opinions on charades as well.
Look, he's a good man. He has many wonderful things about him. We can forgive him his flaws. I'm kidding. Frank.
Jim Kirk. So they hit a lot of ground here as well. I thought this was just going to be Uhura, but this seems to be much more of a everyone episode, doesn't it?
Yeah, we're going to be talking a bit more about this, but like they tug on a lot of threads in this episode, and I really like it.
Yeah. Beauty shot.
Mm.
Oh, no subtitles. Sorry, hang on, let me just bring that up.
Yes, I wouldn't mind subtitles.
There we go, subtitles should be on now. This is lovely. I love how the station is just hanging out in the clouds.
Yeah, no, I mean, it probably helps them to obscure it because you don't have to do full detail shots, but it's a cool effect.
Yeah.
I was just about to say, it's a shame we didn't get much sort of detail zoomed in, see what the station was all about, but as we find out, we don't really need to.
Not really, no.
Look at that retcon badge he's wearing.
Yeah, that was a bit goofy. Her, go to bed. Get yourself a sourdough baguette.
Neymar, thank you for subscribing.
Something I noticed whilst watching this episode, there's no cover crew. So when Uhura's not at her station, there's nobody there covering her station, which there usually is.
Yeah, usually get someone walking in off screen to fill a role.
Mm.
Maybe you don't need communications all the time.
And someone will walk off.
Yeah, to be fair, communications is probably the one you can do without the most.
Just put the answer machine on.
Hello, this is the Enterprise. Please leave a message.
Please leave a message after the tone.
Go on, space. I missed that the first time.
They do keep mentioning this, the Gorn, and sort of
it's
bringing
not the third mention, I think. Yeah.
I think the last episode is going to be Gorn focused.
Going to be building up to it.
It's called Hegemony, so yeah, it's going to be.
I like that line, yeah.
I love this shot. This is so good.
Dude, like when they started doing this, I was like, oh man, that's the coolest shot.
Ortega needs more screen time.
Yeah.
Yeah, her and Una. Her and Una definitely need a boost. I love that sound. It reminds me of... What was that mission in Mass Effect Stars where you go into the sort of like the cyberspace and you're finding like this guy that is... I think it's like a side mission. He's like linked in digitally to everything and he's gone mad. And there was
Overlord? Is it the one with
I think it might be Overlord, yeah. It had that kind of similar sound in that, didn't it?
The DLC, I think, might have been, yeah. This made me instantly sad.
Oh, yeah.
What it reminded me of, I didn't notice it the first time, but hearing it just then, do you remember Andrew WK, Party Hard?
Yes.
The one-hit wonder back in like the early 2000s. The very start of that song.
Oh, is that?
It sounds just like that.
I'd subscribe to Hemmer's YouTube channel.
I would. it's all like 95% like YouTube tutorials, but then there's like 5% which is just him showing you how to like do ANAR stuff. It's how you fool people into thinking you're a precog.
Yeah.
ANAR for anyone listening. ANAR.
ANAR.
I mean, I once made the "she's into ANAR" joke before, so I think we can.
I'm going to say this once, and I won't say it again. Her voice still grates on me. The whispering annoys me. It's the fact that it's loud and then she's whispering. But yeah, I won't bring it up again.
It's very red.
Yeah, no, there's an evil alien in there. Red Jack, or whatever it is.
Why is it when there's an episode where someone's in a nacelle control room, people are going mad? It's happened twice.
Yeah. You're not wrong.
That happened on Enterprise, didn't it?
Oh, and TNG, so maybe it's 3 times now. I wish
It
we
was
got
nice
more.
to see Hammer again.
Yeah, I think we needed another series of Hammer with him and Uhura just firm in that bond.
Nah, I think they were very, very clever to. They took him away just as you were really starting to love him.
I just want more Hammer.
Guess what? So does Uhura.
Yeah.
Now, I didn't realise that this was filmed before season 1 even came out, and it did. When I watched it, I thought, oh, you know, they've put Hammer in to kind of give people a little bit of extra.
It feels that way, but
complain.
yeah, no, this is planned all along.
Yeah. But I like that it was planned all along.
Yeah,
It shows that they've got something.
a good
in
amount
mind.
of forethought. Yeah. This makeup is incredible.
It's really good at it.
I so hope we get this card in time.
I don't know if you'd be able to because it's got all the blood on it, right? Like,
yeah,
that'd be fine.
Although they started doing blood on the animated cards now.
Oh, okay, maybe. Pardon me, sorry. But yeah, no, I adore when you not just get like a really detailed alien design, but then you get to see that alien design be like destroyed and ruined.
Completely changed. Yeah,
yeah, it's super cool.
Poor Wesley. Yeah, because previous to season 1, before it aired, they showed someone showed a picture of set of La'an and Kirk from Tomorrow and Tomorrow and Tomorrow, and and then they revealed that Kirk was going to be in this series, and everyone's on a bit of a bummer, and that was even before season 1 aired. So
yeah, so that's the thing. Like, I believe I have been saying multiple times that I'm of the opinion that it's been lots of other Kirks. We've not been gotten a prime Kirk. We've gotten alternate Kirks and ones from different timelines. And this is the first time we get it. And I'm ready to accept my award. And everyone can tell me that you know what, I was right all along. He's perfect.
that's what I like about you, Stars. It's so humble.
I'm incredibly humble. Guess what? It's not easy being right all the time, but I manage it.
No, I'm glad we got a lot of Kirk and Sam in this. I love their pettiness.
Yeah, they act
so
like
good.
brothers.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I love that we get so much more Sam. This is probably the most screen time Sam's ever gotten as well.
You're probably right.
Oh, that's why I can't hear Stars. I've got him turned down.
Thanks, Crank. Thanks. This is your brain on drugs.
This is your brain on magnesite
Cortisone.
fluid. Yeah, cortisone, yeah. Is she growing her hair out, do you think? Because she was I don't know if she was a lot more close cut in the last season. Do you think over the seasons they're going to build up to where she's got the
I could see that. That'd be cool.
It'd be a nice bit of continuity.
Because I'm not sure. I think I saw a recent interview with Celia and she had longer hair. So I'm wondering if either...
It'd be a bit of an ask for her, but if she's up for it, it'd be
Yeah.
a cool way of showing that continuity and growth. You just
with
have to
the
look at
makeup
Uhura's
these days,
hair to
hard
know
to
exactly what year you are.
Count the rings in her braids. I love her earrings. Little delta with the green ring.
Oh, is it I don't know.
I think it's a delta. Maybe.
I
Yeah,
think it was very least a little stud, sure.
The jade hoop is very classic Uhura. She quite often had the jade hoop.
The scene later when they're going through the bar and it pulls out right at the end of the episode and it's all just looks so 60s. It's crazy.
The retro future. I love Mbenga. That look on his face. Yeah, no, the blending of retrofuturism and the style in Stranger Worlds continues to just knock it out of the park.
I did think that when there was a point when they're walking through the corridors and you've got the screens that they had on the old series, like sticking out from the start. It looks right. They're blending it in well.
Yeah.
Right, what's her name? I can never remember her name.
Pelia.
Her uniform sort of, I don't know, it almost reminds me of one of the Monster Maroon style.
A little bit, actually, yeah.
Something that Janice Rand
She adorns it with a few straps,
movies.
doesn't she? She's kind of got like the waistband on, which...
I know she's got like a toolkit around her waist.
That's what's doing it, isn't it? It's the waistband.
How tall is Rebecca Romaine, or how small is Carol Kane? Because look at her.
I believe Rebecca Romaine is like 6'1", 2 or 3, something like that. Because she was in the running for Wonder Woman at some point.
Well.
Yeah,
she's
doing full imperious bitch.
Yeah.
Yes.
Who wears a hat to bed?
Black people who need to keep their natural hair in order.
Oh, maybe. I just didn't.
It's called a do-rag idol.
Is it?
I'm
Okay,
sorry you
no.
don't understand anything about hair.
I need... Bitch. I'm aware of a do-rag. I was not aware that it was a bedtime piece of clothing.
It's to help keep your natural hair in order. And I think it's super cool that Starfleet apparently has standard issue do-rags. That's awesome.
Yeah, Starfleet issue do-rag.
Yeah, the beanies is great. Yeah,
I have one just like.
Have you guys seen that that screenshot of Spock from the previous episode? He's got like the Spock helmet on. It's like his strangulation. Here's the man himself. They give it such a long time for the transport effect. It's the longest transport ever.
I like how it's more classic TOS beaming effect. It's the orange, thicker sparkles. I mean,
You can tell that just from the transporter room.
Yeah, what's the Farragut like? Just like, bolts and rust.
I think he does. He's doing the cocky Kirk while he's just slipping it in just a little bit here and there.
Yeah.
Do you know you're going to crash this ship? This ship. You're going to destroy it.
Man, I would have loved it if we got to see Sam, Kirk, and Burnham interact. They would be massive nerds.
Oh, wow. Kirk and Burnham would have been fun.
Yeah.
I think... No, they don't.
No.
I thought they might interact in one of the Discovery novels, but they don't. It's
okay. Don't believe so, no.
Giorgio interacts with Kirk.
Yeah, because they go to like Talos 4 over his,
Yeah.
So, Lieutenant First Officer. It's interesting. Not unprecedented, but... Because he didn't get promoted. He's still Lieutenant, yeah. He's not Lieutenant.
How do you know that?
I think it was addressed later in the episode. It says Lieutenant Kirk.
I'm going to be watching out for that.
I think so. I don't think he's been promoted rank, but he has definitely been promoted in office.
Well, I mean, yeah.
Which I think the Farragut is definitely like a smaller ship. It is...
Yeah.
Which means like the rank structure could be a lot different.
Yeah. I like this tie-in to that thing in DS9 where it's like, guess what, you don't get in the captain's chair by wearing yellow.
I mean, their dad is Chris Hemsworth, so there's definitely a lot to live up to there. Someone's positing that they could bring Shatner back as George Kirk Sr.
I wouldn't want Shatner. I wouldn't want it.
Just like
I'd want Hemsworth.
Nah, I don't think that'd work.
Shatner's ego would not allow him. He'd have to be the focus of the episode. He wouldn't allow it.
No, that's true.
They probably couldn't afford him anyway.
That too. He was nearly on Enterprise, apparently. But the only reason he wasn't on Enterprise was because they couldn't afford him.
Yeah, he asked
too much money. Yeah.
I'm covered in crap.
This sort of moment irked me a little bit because she kind of keeps it to herself. She says, "Oh, we found something," but then she doesn't say, "We found this. This is wrong." She just keeps it to herself to try and teach her a bit of a lesson.
I think she's...
I'll be fair, if it was immediately a problem, then...
She is very unorthodox. And I think that I think that's there's a reason for the clash. Her unorthodoxy clashes with Una's straight
very down the line.
Shall we eye fuck over the 3D chess?
Yeah, I was going to say this is like the most arousing chess game ever.
To be fair, like the Ethan Peck doing that like Nimoy-esque growl, like.
It's the fact that he doesn't take eye contact away from her. He just moves and says your move and carries on looking straight at her.
Yeah. It's moments like that where it's like, no, yeah, this is why everyone went nuts for Nimoy like during the original run because of that intensity.
So yeah, I wasn't expecting them to pay this off in this episode, like, because as far as I'm aware, like, every episode's been focused about one person. This episode seems to be a little bit of everyone, mostly Uhura, but a little bit of everyone, which is cool. I like it.
I really appreciate it. I love getting to touch on all these like intertwining strands.
Yes, we don't.
Like that, the way he looks there, that looks so Nimoy.
Let's explain quantum and then say, like, this isn't how it really is for all the nerds that are on their phones going, ah! Right, okay, sorry.
Yeah, see, all he needs there is a little bit of purple eyeshadow, and that is almost perfect Nimoy.
That's what I kind of love about Peck, is that if you ask him to, he can do Nimoy down to a T, it's just if he chooses not to.
Look at the bowler at the bar. He's great.
I love this new set. I'm really glad they came up with it.
Actually, I think it's the first Bolian we've seen in the 23rd century.
No.
As well. Have we not?
There was the ensign in Spokamok.
Oh, the cadet.
Yeah.
Oh, the ensign. Yeah,
he's
ensign,
so
sorry.
mean.
Yes, that's right. I forgot about her.
Oh yeah, this bit is incredible.
Yeah. Another Saurian brandy.
Also, like going right for the brandy, like fuck, man.
Yeah. I think Sam's gone and like Kirk's just bored.
Yeah, no.
I got nowhere else to go.
This is
like Sam invited me here, and now he's gone off, and now I'm just on this ship. Guess I better do something.
Hi, Jim Cook, man whore.
It kind of made me laugh that he speaks to her and she instantly thinks he's trying to come on to her.
Yeah.
That's the first line.
That's a Shatner look. That's a Shatner look. Like, I don't want to keep comparing Wesley to Shatner, but there are very little things there.
I think he's deliberately injecting little bits in just the right place. So you're like, yeah, no, it's got that Kirk.
Yeah.
Like, that look as well. That look. Like, there's something about the way he's moving his eyebrows. It's just very Shatner.
It's that distant stare, the kind of contemplative stare.
I feel like Tomorrow was setting us up for this episode, because if we'd have just been dropped into Kirk now, we wouldn't have had an episode of Paul Wesley's natural charm to shine through, like his natural, like, okay, what are you doing with this character, for them to then him do a younger Kirk in a different reality. You know, I think it was actually quite clever.
Very careful with the way they've been setting these characters up, and I
really
so
good.
appreciate it.
Ah, Stabby Uhura.
And this is very classic Star Trek.
Yeah, that's a good punch. Look at that. That guy
And then
went
she
down.
gives it to him.
Celia's punched a man before. Oh no, court martial.
Yeah, this. Yeah, that's striking a superior officer. That's a rough one.
It's like, forget all right.
It's just a shame she didn't. The fight wasn't a little bit longer, and she managed to rip his shirt.
Yeah.
No, she should have done the legs handle.
It's going to happen at some point, you know.
Yeah. Or a drop kick, running drop kick.
Yeah.
With his
no, drop it off the wall.
Yeah, no, it's the bum kick, isn't it? It's the like into the Andorian. It's like, I'm bored and I've got nothing else to do on this ship, so why not?
You seem intriguing. I have nothing else to do. This is an easy way to get my number, isn't it? And he's like, What about enlisted? And he's like, hey.
Yeah, that game.
Yeah.
Cinematography.
Yeah.
Just need the Beastie Boys to come on now.
Sabotage.
Okay there, little bud. To that, bud. You want to go home and get a cookie?
And how many gummies have you eaten today?
Many. It's about to be one more.
Ramon.
Razor Ramon.
Sabotage.
Sabotage. Wooden shows called Shatabo.
It's more of a security emergency than a medical emergency.
Well, the fact that he's like that freaked out and he appears to be like seeing things that aren't there.
It's both, really, but yeah.
Yeah.
Man, that lighting change is so good. It's like, get out of bed, shit's going down.
See, again, there's nobody at comms.
This was cool.
Yeah. A little bit of a Star Trek Nemesis moment, but...
And Voyager as well, didn't it have it in Voyager?
I think it did, yeah.
The way Spock
Year of Hell.
just faces
Year of
that
Hell.
animation. Oh, we're going to get blown out the window. Yeah.
I'm logically falling out of this window. Don't mind me. If there's nothing wrong with me, then there must be something wrong with the universe.
Oh my god, it is, isn't it? Except people are disappearing. There's always been you and me on the ship, Beverly. We've never needed anyone before.
Pike seems to be looking more and more like Jeffrey Hunter.
Yeah.
It's possible he's kind of building that into his performance because he's, he knows what he's working towards.
Yeah.
Either that, or we're just liking the character that much now that it's blending into one.
No, you said it wrong.
Sabotage.
Worst Shatner ever. Worst Kirk ever.
Yeah.
Didn't say sabotage.
Sabotage.
See, like Pike is in his head is like, I've met this Kirk before as well. Like him and Lyle have probably got quite a lot in common.
Yeah, but they can't talk to each other about it, which is messed up.
bread.
Bread.
He's got dubstep in his brain.
You just like scan him in a picture of a Reaper from Mass Effect. Turns up.
It's like, wow, I'm sensing Skrillex.
Oh, yeah. Edison, what's wrong with you? I've got Skrillex.
I like that, like, Mbenga got, like, stabbed, basically.
Yeah, he did,
and, like, he's like, oh, I'm fine.
Oh, he's a badass now, though, isn't he?
It's true.
I saw a picture today on Twitter, and it was an image from the Tholian web, where Uhura wakes up in her quarters, and Kirk's on the monitor because he's been sucked into transdimensional space, hasn't he? And someone put the theory forward that because of this experience, Kirk knew the first person to go to was Uhura because she'd had the same experience about hearing people in different spaces. And I thought
that'd be cool.
That's a nice little theory. You know, it's probably not what they thought.
It probably,
nice. Yeah,
probably isn't even intended, but it's still cool.
It's a nice link.
I also appreciate them having lockers where it's like no, flashlights here, go pick them up.
Yeah.
Just random lockers with torches in.
Sometimes you need them. What if the lights go out?
Yeah. No one's changed the batteries in about 6 years, and it's been overlooked on the maintenance schedule, but they're in there.
They're Starfleet batteries, don't worry about it.
That's a lot of blood.
Yeah. The instant I saw her, I was like, there's no way. She's gone.
Mm-hmm.
There are a few moments in this episode where it's kind of dark and quite almost horror-ish.
Yeah.
A little bit. Because it feels like it's a little bit inspired by, what is it, Night Terrors?
Yeah.
Just done
Yeah,
better,
quite a dark
essentially.
episode.
Yeah. I also appreciate that Strange New Worlds, like, really pulls, like, back on indiscriminate red shirt death. Like, you don't get deaths very often.
Yeah.
So when it happens, you're like, fuck, man.
I also feel like, though, that they avoid killing specifically red shirts, because people go like, oh, look, you know, they try and go like, so they were wearing a yellow shirt, fuck you.
Yeah, isn't that the first like, casualty shot of the blue shirt? It's so weird for someone to call Kirk James. You know, he's either Jim, Kirk, James T. Kirk. He is never just James.
Gave her a hot dog.
She's
James.
I did notice Sam called him Jimmy when he first arrived on the ship.
Yeah.
Yeah, Jimbo.
Yeah, neighbour just called it.
Yeah.
Jimothy.
Jimison. No, you won't.
See, there's one of those screens in the corridor. It looks very, very 60s.
Okay.
Yeah, no. The set dressing on the show is immaculate. Just start firing wildly.
The Starfleet way.
You're damn right. We come in peace, shoot to kill, shoot to kill.
James. Nah, but now she has to explain later.
I felt like they should have done more with this in this episode.
Oh, it's going to come up again.
Yeah, not enough time.
Yeah, they've said that Kirk is going to show up again in the season, so...
Oh, yeah, I don't doubt it. I kind of, by the end of this episode, I kind of wondered if they're going to sort of lean towards the Kirk and Spock origin story.
I definitely think so, because we get to see them meet in this episode, but we don't get to see the moment.
Meanwhile, there's a clip on the cutting room floor of Wrath of Khan where Kirk calls Pike and says, "I kissed your great 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 granddaughter." Wait, what do you mean you stranded me on this asteroid?
Buried alive. Buried alive.
Nice. I like the shot.
That's very TNG. What is it? Eye of the Beholder? I think the episode's
that
called?
was the one I was talking about earlier. That's where the woman goes mad, and wasn't it like Troy was sensing that love triangle? Oh no, the romance went wrong or something like that.
Yeah, and someone threw themselves into the warp coil, and it was still imprinted on the cell.
Yeah.
not like season 5.
Season 7, I think.
Is it
actually.
right with that late?
Yeah, because the Worf Troy romance is still happening by that point.
Oh, that's right.
I wondered when I was watching this if any of those details are stuff that was revealed in the original series, and they're just bringing it up with a bit of continuity.
I don't think so.
I know Kenya might be. I think Kenya. She's definitely spoken about Swahili at some point in TOS. I'm sure.
Possibly, yeah.
Yeah.
I don't remember her mentioning a cat.
Whoop.
This is cool. I like this Get Out. Kirk's just there.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
right
and
place,
he
right time.
Absolutely the right choice there, because boy, this could get to bad.
That was such an awesome rescue. Like, so good. Like, I'm here, beam us out, bye.
Instant, yeah.
Luckily, someone was there at the transporter going, "Oh, cool, okay, bing."
Yeah.
To be fair, it's an emergency situation. You probably are like, you don't know. We immediately have someone there.
It's like those memes you see of O'Brien, where he's just stood in the transporter and doing nothing.
It's O'Brien at work.
Someone's always there, just waiting.
Yes.
Sabotage and ship. Man, imagine what this mission report sounds like to Starfleet. Like, what a... Sounds like a bumblefuck.
It's kind of my problems with this episode, which we'll get into the review, is just like Pike is maybe a little bit too trusting here, but...
I don't know, I'd rather he be more trusting than not.
I thought he was a little bit too trusting when it gets to the end of the episode and they're on the bridge when it all goes down.
Yeah.
A little bit of jealousy there.
Mm-hmm.
That is Kirk in a nutshell, isn't it?
Well, she has prior history there, doesn't she?
Yeah.
I mean, the only thing 60s Kirk would have been doing was he'd have been approaching her and maybe touching her and getting close. He wouldn't just be stood there, sort of.
Yeah. Yeah, no, that's kind of my issue a little bit, but.
I should have the stream on so I can see what people are saying in chat.
It helps.
I should give you the link straight to the chat rather than bringing up the whole stream. I have a URL. I'll pop in the show chat.
It's nice to see Kirk be a bit more vulnerable. I like that.
There you go. If you just want to look at chat without anything else, then there's that one.
Okay. Yeah, but I've only got one screen, haven't I?
Okay, yeah.
TOS soft focus lens.
Yeah. I was half thinking like this would be Kirk's only appearance, and that whole making me sweat part from the trailer was going to be a deception. But no, maybe it's going to be one more time in the season.
Maybe. The first duty is to the deuterium refinery.
The first duty of any Starfleet officer is to, yes, getting our warp cores online to blow up subspace and kill all those creatures past warp 5.5. Actually, describing me at work.
Yeah. Spock and Sam, Una and Pelia.
Yeah.
No, you do. I don't know, Neymar. I think it makes sense. I think she is very highly strung, and she's not used to people calling her out.
I think it's hard with Una because we've not had enough character development to kind of determine her personality as much yet. I feel like we owed more Una episodes. I feel like we're still learning about
Definitely,
her.
we need more Una.
Yeah, definitely. Like I said before, countless
Well,
times, I need
she's
an Una in
no
command.
nonsense.
Yeah.
Yeah, we need Pike's doing something. He's held up somewhere. He's been taken, or he's on a mission. Una's in command.
Yeah.
Shit's going down. What's happening?
Yeah.
A Pike and Una dual episode where they both have to deal with intense command situations would be awesome. Yeah, I don't have an issue with her being a bit more sort of like prickly here because it's a stressful situation. It's only her with someone of an equivalent rank, so it's not a case of talking down to her. Like,
yeah. And she's human. Well, she's Illyrian, but she's pissed off.
Yeah.
And maybe
and we've seen it from the first officers as well. Like Riker and Kira would also still have similar moments.
And I think because now Uhura's post the being outed as an Illyrian and embracing it. Personally, she doesn't need to hide behind humanism. She can act a little bit differently if she chooses to, more herself than anything else.
Yeah, but I definitely agree. We do need more Una to work out more about what that herself is. We have not seen a counselor on the ship because that is not a thing that TOS ships should have.
It's Mbenga. Mbenga's the counselor here, really.
No, he's medical officer. It's not the same thing. He should be a qualified mental health professional, but maybe we'll get a bartender who will be the informal counselor.
Hairdresser. Just bring back Mott. Mott's
Sure.
great grandfather.
I'm sure there's an episode of one of the series where they talk about when counsellors were introduced onto the ship.
Oh, I think
I'd
you're
imagine
right,
it'll be a
actually.
Troy episode.
Did they not do that in
I think
Enterprise?
it is TNG.
Maybe on Enterprise they kind of went, well, maybe we should have counsellors on the ship, and then that was probably the glib
possibly.
remark Enterprise is known for.
Oh no, that would have been in the last episode with Troy and Riker.
Yeah,
Troy says they didn't
That's
have
right, yeah.
counsellors on the ships back then. The chef was the counsellor.
Yeah.
That was why Riker was the chef.
Man, Celia Rose Gooding is so fucking good.
Yeah, she is.
Yeah, I was neither here nor there with her at the start. She wasn't. I never disliked her, but she's grown on me. She's grown into the part.
And it's a very instant thing to say.
Yeah.
It's a hard lesson to learn.
And I like this speech, the Kirk speech.
Oh, it's incredible.
That's a very Kirk thing to say as well. Maybe you can't.
Risk is our business. It is exactly the same
It
speech,
actually
really,
is,
but
yeah.
it's good. It's good. But
And it also really
shows-
dovetails nicely with the Wrath of Khan speech as well.
It does show that, okay, he's youngest first officer in the fleet, but this kind of speech and this kind of attitude tells you why he's there and kind of proves it.
Because he can do it. He can walk the walk.
One thing that I like about them filling out Uhura's character, for example, when we go back and watch the original series now, you're going to see the character in a different light.
Yeah,
You've
the
got all
problem
this other-
Massively, yeah.
Yeah, I know, but the problem is with TOS is, although Uhura was a defining character of the role, they didn't do a lot with her, which is why.
No.
Yeah, it's such a
But
shame.
now that you know,
Yeah.
you know she's got all this behind her, all this history.
That's why it's worth revisiting the character and
Yeah.
bringing that added dimension to her, giving her a second shot.
I think this is why people want them to say right, when Strange New Worlds is done, are they going to do a TOS reboot kind of series with these actors? Because we want to see.
I hope they don't.
Well,
The thing is, I wouldn't even mind if they did because like everyone is so good.
If they can do it on the way Strange New Worlds is doing it, where say like, hi, we're going to give Uhura more characters. Say like, right, we're going to do this with Sulu. We're going to do this with Scotty. All the characters that were basically sitting behind Shatner and Nimoy and DeForest Kelly.
On the three.
Yeah, exactly. To kind of give, I wouldn't hate that. I would. I want to know more about Sulu, like, because you don't know anything really apart from he's cool.
Yeah, I mean, if they did a series where they showed how Scotty came aboard the ship, they showed
Chekhov
how
as well, yeah.
Sulu, Chekhov, how they came to be on the Enterprise.
Yeah, and I think cool. Like I don't want them to retread ground. I don't want them to go like, right, we're going to remake the Corbomite maneuver. No, but
yeah.
Oh dear, damn.
Yeah, no, I wouldn't want them to remake episodes, but I wouldn't mind like lost episodes of TOS. I certainly wouldn't mind that. I think they
go
could
up to the
easily
approach.
do it.
There's probably moments before where no one has gone before where they can explore that space, like they're doing with Discovery, and like they're doing here.
You want to talk to my boring brother?
Look at that lab. It's like, here's my cool skulls.
I love his lab. Yeah.
There's skeletons. What's that a skeleton of?
Dinosaurs, I guess. Or...
It's a little tiny crocodile.
It had arms. It looked like one of the. It looked like a Janeway Paris frogfish thing.
Maybe it is.
One of Sam's colleagues went to Warp 10 and he just harvested the remains. Little beakers of various colours.
That's how you know it's science.
Just noticed the two-headed skeleton in the background there.
Little do we know that Sam Kirk is a mad scientist.
Wouldn't surprise me. I mean, this is a leap, but it gets the story going.
I mean, they are very specific visuals.
Yeah.
And she is supposedly a language expert. She should be able to put that sort of thing together.
Yeah.
Damn says, any predator skulls?
See the Oucher, yeah.
I just did.
Yeah, no. I'm not some Republic serial villain.
Here, they're running down the corridor. You've got comms. Just talk to them.
Well,
they are.
Yeah.
They do both.
But why? She doesn't need to run to the bridge. I mean, she does need to get there fast. Just transport.
Well, that is.
You can't just transport around the ship. Site-to-site transport is not something to be done idly.
Yeah. That sound is so cool. I love it.
Transitions.
Yeah. That was a really fluid smoke transition. That was really cool.
And you were talking about wanting to see strange new worlds. These are very, very strange aliens.
Mm-hmm.
I love that you get to see like space age Kenya in the background as well there.
Oh yeah, that's true. I didn't think of that. Was that where they crashed though?
I think so, because they were at the they were teaching at the University of Kenya, no?
I don't know.
Or I can't remember if they say specifically what city or.
That's so cool.
See, here he starts to just he just goes with Uhura, whatever she says, just go with
Yeah.
it. It's like,
Which is fine, but when she then gives the order to fire torpedoes, you'd be like, no, wait a second, no, just hang on.
yeah. That was the bit that got me.
Yeah. The soundtrack. It's very Philip Glass. Have you ever listened to Koi and Askatsi? Fucking love Koi and Askatsi. Like, it just reminded me of that instantly. The little flutes going on a little... Yeah.
See there, why? You need to disable it. You don't need to destroy it.
No, deuterium fuel. I don't know if that's flammable. It's entirely possible you can't without like.
The words in it is fuel. It's flammable.
Yeah.
Also, I noticed earlier on in the episode they said deuterium is what powers ships, but isn't that dilithium?
I think deuterium reacts with dilithium. It's part of the the dilithium is the catalyst. The deuterium's the transport method, or something like that. You know.
No, isn't it deuterium is what's used for the impulse engines?
Oh, maybe.
Oh, okay. And dilithium's warp engines.
Well, yeah, because dilithium is used to regulate the matter-antimatter reaction, whereas I'm pretty sure deuterium is like used to fuel impulse power.
I don't have my Star Trek, my TNG. Yeah, at this moment, it was a bit like.
Yeah.
Yeah, we need our TNG technical manuals.
Yeah, that's exactly what I was going to say.
A full spread of 8 torpedoes.
That's a lot of torpedoes.
Yeah. And it's like, that's a huge engineering. That's taken years to build that, and so
and
many
all of a sudden,
resources.
just on like your communications officer goes like, "I can hear space people." Oh yeah, fuck it, destroy it. Yeah.
I mean, you're in Starfleet. Like, if anyone's going to believe you, it would be Starfleet.
True, but Dam says the current best bet for fusion reactors is deuterium tritium fuel. This fuel reaches fusion conditions at lower temperatures. So this is actual science. Deuterium and tritium are isotopes of hydrogen. Right. There we go. Bye hammer.
So in which case, yeah, the deuterium is what powers the fusion reactors that go for the impulse engines. Yeah, it's gonna be a rough one to write that up for Starfleet, but it is the right thing to do.
Until Dam said to me, well, on Discord, where he said, you're that close to the Gorn border, I sort of went, yeah, okay. But they don't say that. If they say that, if Pike says, oh, we're too close to the Gorn border, we can't just disable it, we've got to destroy it. Fair enough, go for it. That's all, everything worked out more. I've got a problem with it then.
But there's no proof of that life.
Yeah, but the thing is like the amount of time that it would take, like you're basically like shoving aliens into a blender and killing them. Like,
so the other thing I thought here is they've just blown up. They've just created a huge explosion in the middle of this gas cloud where all these life forms are. So,
yeah, but the implication is that it's the processing and refining of deuterium for the use as fuel is what actually is hurting them, not necessarily an explosion.
Yeah. Again, it's filling in the gaps, but yeah.
Yeah, no, I get what you mean. I kind of agree a little bit.
They don't know, or they haven't said on screen that these alien life forms are resilient to it. They've just got to blow it up. If it kills them, it kills them.
Her vision disappeared because they all died.
Her vision disappeared because they all died in the explosion. There's a little lack of proof there, but I will take the high morals because Star Trek has done that before. Taking people's merits on faith.
I mean, in one hand you have, it's a deuterium refinery, it's important. On the other hand, you have the word of a communications officer that you respect, and 2 dead officers who died for a reason. Like,
is it a Gorn plot, a ploy to start a war?
And stranger things have happened. Like, we dealt with the Organians and the Metrons or whatever. Like, there's all kinds of weird life in
I do.
universe.
I mean, every time I complain about something on Strange New Worlds, I do kind of go back to the original series and I kind of think, oh, well, they did this and they did that. And,
The camp 60s is always the baseline for how absurd you can make things. Well, they did it back then, so fine, sure. I love this. Where the fuck is Riker? I half expected him to come hologram.
Yeah.
Bird!
Why is she
The other
wearing a
thought that
suit
came
of
into my
armor?
mind is
Well, my question is, why are they playing the cymbals with a brush?
Oh, you can play cymbals with the brush.
yeah,
Yeah,
I
of course you
play
can.
it with jazz.
Yeah.
Gives it a softer.
You
gives
know
it
how
a
about
softer sound.
brush play? Yeah, you do. This gives you like a nice soft feel. Yeah.
I feel like I'm being lied to right now.
Very common in jazz.
Instead of going, tss, you get the pa.
Yeah.
Yeah, deuterium is made easily from seawater. True, but there is no seawater out in space
That you know of.
yeah.
that I know of. This is true.
Got a whole planet.
There are
full of-
whales in space, though.
Are there?
Oh, this moment.
Oh yeah.
Well, there's a whale probe in space.
Yes. Jim. Sam wanted to throat slam him right there.
Look at
I
he's just
like this
baiting
bit.
him. He's look at his eyes. He's so baiting
Yeah.
him into like.
Yeah, I know what he wants me to say.
Yeah. I could watch an episode of these two. I really could.
I
Yeah.
actually really could.
I mean, they could do a flashback episode of these two when they were in the academy or when they were growing up or something, and where it's mostly back in the past with those two. That would be brilliant.
No, I want them trapped in a shuttle in deep space,
Oh,
like Shuttle Pod
that'd
1
be great.
style. Like that'd be great.
Yeah.
Boom.
Boom. Hey, boyfriend. Soon to be future husband.
See, look, one stripe, Lieutenant.
Oh,
Oh yeah.
weird.
It's fine. Nothing against it.
I like that Spock had to look to Uhura. Uhura.
Yeah. you
Ben.
As to whether he can sit down.
Look at that decor. It's so 60s. It's great.
It really is. And like, even the outfits everyone's wearing are very 60s. Like that white and black, that's very
Yeah.
60s, like mod style.
Yeah.
That guy wearing a tracksuit, not wearing. It's like, is it the 80s? No, it's the 60s. Shit.
It's got that gold lame thing. Like, you totally see an Orion and TOS wearing that.
I
that's
just
true.
ordered a shell suit.
Those doors. I love those doors. Ugh.
Beautiful.
It's a weird ending, but it's like, oh, we're just gonna go to some cool jazz. Yeah.
Now to play smooth jazz.
All right. That was good. That was good. I very much enjoyed that. Right.
Still like it second time round, so I'm happy with it.
Definitely, definitely. So I am gonna very quickly go to the toilet. I'm gonna try and fix the screen here. Ding, ding, ding. That's gonna do that. I'm gonna lose me. Oh no, where have I gone? Here I am.
Where are you? Where are you?
Oh,
Three moon circles.
Okay, I'm gonna very quickly go to the toilet, and then we'll do a track.
You ever think he's going a bit nuts, Frankie? You ever think
Oh,
that?
no, he's gone nuts years ago. He's been
Yeah,
nuts
sure.
for years.
Yeah. Let's see. Yeah, it was basically a TNG era plot format, A and B plot with various bits of. But to be fair, I think this had a lot more character development than one of those would have had. That would have been solidly just Uhura. They probably wouldn't have given as much focus to Kirk or to Sam or anyone else.
Yeah, they'd have only had half of the main cast. They'd have had people that you wouldn't have seen or you'd only caught a glimpse of in passing.
Yeah.
I think it was
So,
quite well
okay,
rounded.
Yeah. Give me your rundown of season 2 so far for you. Like, what would you say is your high point, your low point?
Ooh. See, now I watched all three of the first 3 episodes in one day, and they merged into one because I watched them one after the other. And the courtroom episode with Una kind of didn't do it for me.
Really?
It was, yeah, I found myself losing interest. I was playing on my phone. The one before that, I can't remember which one it was, but I liked it.
The Klingon Dilating Planet?
Yes. I think the first 2 I liked. And then the third one was the courtroom drama, is that right?
Second one was Courtroom. I think the third one was the Time Travel episode.
Okay, yeah. So 1 and 3 I liked. 2 and 4 I've not been so keen on. 4 especially. And this one I liked.
So it's one off, one on for you so far.
So far, yeah.
Are we talking about Star Trek relationships or real life relationships? I just had one off, one on.
I'm just asking Cranky for his rundown on what he's enjoyed of season 2 so far and what he's not.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, it's because well, I'll be interested to see what you think next week.
I'm looking forward to next week.
I'm so looking forward to it. Did you see the clip that came out?
No, I saw the screenshots that you posted on Discord.
Ah, okay, cool. Yeah, join our Discord. I share screenshots. Okay.
Sometimes they're even about Star Trek.
Yeah, not yet. Just random shit. I just throw it out there. Sometimes it's fun. It's worth looking at, apparently.
I'm gonna run to the toilet.
Okay, you do that. You do that. Because it's time to set up something decent to intro in. How are you, Stars? Anyway, how's your day?
I'm doing pretty good. I've been enjoying my day off. I got paid for a bit of tech support I've done, and I've just been vibing and enjoying myself. And
just been chilling. Relaxing.
Reading comics. I've gotten up to 1979 Avengers, and I'm having a great time.
I've been nursing my wife back into health because she went out and got very drunk and came home about 3 o'clock in the morning last night. And she came,
3 in the morning, Jesus!
3 o'clock in the morning, which at our age is just extreme. Like, what are you doing? And then she just came in and I'm too drunk. Woke up this morning, was a couple of times into the toilet and just been sort of like passing her like vitamin drinks and the occasional toast and butter. Like, you okay to get up now? No, leave me alone. And the ironic thing is,
can you solid food? Anything? No? Okay.
The ironic thing is, like, every time we used to go out drinking, she was always the one that used to wake up in the morning and go like, I'm fine, I don't get hangovers. And I was like, dying. And then she woke up this morning like, oh my god, what is happening to me? It's like, this is a hangover. This is what happens. I usually used to go to work in this kind of situation. You just have to somehow focus, do the essentials, get through the day, and then collapse when you get home. And she's like, I'm just gonna lie down. Hangovers are not fun. They get worse as you get older. My hangovers.
Guess what? I've never had one, so I'm glad.
You are lucky. I mean, my last one lasted about 2 days. Like, honestly, if you feel
lucky
like...
got shit to all to do with it. I guess I just don't drink.
No. Yeah, not even when you were seeing Auto. You didn't even get anything then.
Well, I had like a few drinks, but nothing to give me a hangover. I had like 2-3 drinks maximum.
I think that after the Star Trek, well, not Star Trek convention, after London last year, all that stuff I drank when I woke up the next day, and we're sitting in that breakfast cafe with all of us, and I'm just like, I need to go. I'm stuck in London. I've got to walk to the tube station. I feel like shit.
Not your finest hour.
Not my finest hour.
Me, sorry.
Not my worst. Definitely. Not my finest. Not my worst. All good fun. And we'll start the review in a bit. What is the episode after next called? Because I've got a gap on my spreadsheet. Do we know that yet? Because those all signs.
I don't know.
And then I know the 9th one.
Is it not Subspace Rhapsody?
No, Subspace Rhapsody is the 9th episode. Because this next one is 7, then it's 8, which I don't know the name of. Then it's Subspace Rhapsody, and then it's Hegemony, which is the final episode.
Let me check. Stranger World Season 2. Doesn't have an official title yet.
Okay. Because there was a list of load of titles, and I'm sure I saw it on.
I think that was a leak. So
yeah, I think that was accurate actually so
leak.
far. It's weird that leaked. That was odd. Oh, good news!
Well, that's probably from like.
Prodigy is available to stream on various services again. That just isn't on Paramount Plus.
It will be viable on Blu-ray.
Go watch Prodigy. It's good shit.
Go watch Prodigy. Prodigy's excellent.
Part 2 of season 1 is coming out on DVD and Blu-ray.
Blu-ray, yes. The gods have spoken.
For your information, Idol Season 2, Episode 8 will be called Under the Cloak of War.
Under the Cloak of War. Okay, cool. Okay. Welcome everyone to Star Trek. Oh, we've got a funny. I'm used to someone saying something hilarious. We sort of just pre-roll into it. I'm not used to
us like, the blind,
funny. No, the never. Blind opener of us just kind of going, "Hi, welcome to Star Trek. Oh, we're going to review some shit." Anyway, welcome to Star Trek. Our ongoing review of Star Trek episodes. We are here reviewing season 2 of Strange New Worlds, the Lost in Translation Uhura Kirk focused episode. Yes, Kirk is back. I'm joined by ever faithful Stars Zangatas, and Cranky is joining us this week, moderator and just all-round awesome person of our community.
He's our favourite.
Definitely.
Don't tell everyone else though.
We're telling everyone now. Yeah, we're here to review and talk about Lost in Translation, which we just watched. Go and look at our watch along if you want to come and join us on that. Guys, this episode was a bit of an all-rounder for everyone. I mean, the thing that surprised me was like, okay, this is going to be an Uhura episode, and Kirk's going to be here as well. The real Kirk. Finally, we get Lieutenant Kirk come in, and we get to see what Paul Wesley's metal is made of. But actually, we got Biff, Spock, and Chapel. We got some Una and Pellier. We got a tiny bit of La'an in there as well, and no Ortegas, which because fuck us, we can't get a good Ortegas episode.
We had she was like a pretty decent focus in the last 2 episodes.
Yeah. Okay, fair enough. Anyway,
I'll take your foot off the gas.
Oh no. So, what do we think? This episode, overall opinions. Oh, and we got some Hemmer. We got Hemmer.
All about Hemmer. So I thought it was a bit weird when I put it on, and then there was a load of like Scarlett Johansson and Bill Murray, but then I realised I put in the wrong Lost in Translation.
I made that exact same joke at the start of the watch. Like, yes, we're here to watch Lost in Translation. Oh wait, no, not the 2003 film. No.
Guess what? I wasn't here, so it's a completely fresh and original joke.
It's a different video. It's fine.
Yeah. So I think starting off, this is a very classic episode. Like we were talking about episode 4, I think the one on Rigel 7,
yes,
and how that was a very classic TNG TOS style episode. This is very TNG style. Like this is Night Terrors, this is Eye of the Beholder.
Yeah, I was going to say Eye of the Beholder. Yeah.
We have a subspacey mystery that we need to solve with enough clues that it's fairly obvious if you know your Star Trek what's going to happen. But if Strangely Wells is your first Star Trek, then this is your first time experiencing this plot structure, and it will be a bit more of a surprise. That being said, so when you have a very standard plot structure, where I was like, oh, are there going to be aliens in the
you saw it coming a mile away.
That's always going to be the way, yeah. And at that point, it becomes okay. What is the strength of the character development that's going on here? And I thought that a lot of the character development that went on here was really, really strong. And back when they first kind of showed off Uhura in episode 2 of season 1 with the comet, and they were talking about her tragic backstory, and I remember a lot of people were like, why does everyone in Starfleet have to have a tragic backstory? Why does everyone have to have dead parents or a dead brother or this or that?
If you've not had some tragic backstory, you can't serve as ensign. Like, it just doesn't happen. You've got to be chief petty officer.
And if you don't have one will be assigned to you right away.
Yes. If Wesley's Academy induction, they will PTSD you until you serve.
Absolutely. And everyone was saying, oh, does it really need to be a tragic backstory? Why can't Uhura come from a place of like happiness and life? And it's like, I saw that criticism, but the fact that season 2, episode 6 now, we've had 3 or 4 episodes just talking about Uhura's process with grief and examining how that looks over a long period of time. If you think about TNG, someone dies and you feel bad about it, and then they forget about it in the next episode. Like, Worf felt pretty bad about Sito Jackson. Did he ever say her name ever again after that one episode in TNG? No, he never did. Yeah, that's the other thing. And I really appreciated that, like, yes, they made that decision to have a tragic backstory for Uhura, and then they have committed to it and stuck to it, and they are working with it, and it is a constant part of her life. It doesn't define her, but it's a big part of her journey. And I feel like it's a interesting decision for a character who is so alive and vivacious and so driven to enjoy her life that her experience with Starfleet is kind of driven by tragedy. And I feel like that's actually a relatively smart decision from a writing perspective. So I was really happy that they've kind of taken this tack and stuck to it.
I kind of hope that before Strange New Worlds ends, they'll put all that in a box somehow, and she's over it. She's happy Uhura, ready for the next the original series.
I think we're working towards that. I think because we've had she's had 2 things to overcome, and like the first one is the death of Hemmer, which was worked on a little bit here. She sort of had a bit of grief negotiation here, and the other one is the death of her parents, which also kind of a bit here, but not really expanded. I think when we saw the trailer for this episode and we saw the shuttle crash, we thought, oh no, she's going to relive it, and there's going to be a whole episode based on her parents. But it kind of wasn't that. That was used as a catalyst for translating like what the aliens' intentions were, which was an interesting take. Because what more can you say it than her parents died in the shuttle accident, and her I believe they said her brother as well.
I believe her brother as well. Yeah.
I think they do need to revisit that story though to cap it off in her mind, because it's still an open thing in her mind. Obviously, she's thinking about it and it's distressing her.
Yeah, because in this episode, I think it's more because of like we need to get her ready to address it at all. Because she even says, "I can't look at pictures of them. I can't talk about it with anyone because every time I do, I just start to lock up." And here, she's able to actually look at pictures, and I think maybe, especially if I suspect we might be getting some cyborg involvement in the next few episodes, like I would love for this to be her pain that she deals with, and that in a fucked up way, it helps her progress. Like I'm always a big fan of like. Through adversity, you triumph. That's a very Star Trek thing. But I definitely don't think this is the end of this has been going for 2 seasons now, like a season and a half rather. I don't think they're going to just suddenly drop it and she's fine. I think they're going to continue to develop it and work with it.
There's going to be an episode where she has to confront it, and at the end, the last 2 or 3 seconds of the episode are going to be her looking at a picture of her family. In her quarters on the side.
Yeah,
smiling,
I think that'd be
happy.
Nice.
She's confronted it. They're there now. They're part of her life now.
There'll be a mental image of her mother that comes up to her and says, "Let me teach you this fan dance, and you can only do it in the moonlight."
Only in the moonlight.
Yes, whilst singing. Yeah, so this was a good poignant Uhura episode. Yes, all credit to Celia Gooding in this episode. She was utterly amazing. And she has proven to be God bless Nichelle Nichols. She is amazing in herself and such an inspiring actor and it's such an inspiring character at the right time for progressive movements. But TOS never gave her much chance to show her acting chops. I feel like this is Celia doing absolutely amazing justice to the Uhura character because she rocks. She's just so good. She really is.
Yeah, no, the scene that she has with Kirk where she's talking about the inability to even look at pictures of them, and then he gives his amazing speech. Like, that's 2 incredibly talented performers in a room just talking about grief and how you deal with it. And it's like, a lot of the time, that's what makes the bonding so good. And if you think about it, I remember reading a piece that said that even though the bonding is season 3 of TNG, it's arguably one of the foundations for modern Trek as we know it. Because season 1 and season 2 of TNG, you're getting there, but then season 3 is a very mature mediation on Jeremy Astor and Marla Astor, and that whole thing is a very mature. We're just gonna sit down and talk about death for 45 minutes.
A similar theme. Yeah, you're right.
And how it
actually,
affects people. Yeah. And they were talking about how with Michael Piller and that writing room, how that was such a transformative thing from the Maurice Hurley and the Gene Roddenberry school of. We're just going to do weird space adventures with a lot of sex in them. And so, no, that was a very mature thesis, and this is kind of the natural evolution of that point, and getting to see those two just act off each other is so much fun.
I think a testament to how good any actor is if you can have 2 people in the room talking about anything and you're gripped. I always go back to Pulp Fiction when you've got Samuel L. Jackson and John Travolta in the car talking about burgers. Literally, they're having an idle conversation about the Royale with cheese. And it's such a gripping conversation. You glue the whole way through because it's funny and it's a conversation about nothing, but because of the strength of the actors, it's so good. And I feel like that's kind of the energy that a lot of the Strange New World cast bring here. Like the conversation between Chapel and Spock about sort of playing chess and talking about quantum relationships is
very
the same
charged,
kind of thing. It's like you're engrossed in it because the actors are giving the right energy and putting everything to it, which I think is missed in, say, sort of more... people say oh, well, I want the 26 episode seasons back on. You think there are still shows that do that now, and you watch them now, and a lot of it's just we're talking from one point to another. They're not investing the time that the actors can give, and this absolutely does respect the actors' time and the dialogue's time in a very good way, and it's gripping.
Yeah, and I think that's part of the reason why. So we're going to talk, one of the flaws of this episode is that. We aren't getting a lot of Una in season 1 and season 2. We want more Una.
Which we do get a fair bit this episode. She does have a little bit. Yeah. But, sorry, go on.
A little bit. But the thing is that, part of the reason we're clamoring for more Una and for more Ortegas is because these are very experienced and talented performers who every time they get a chance to show what they can do, we have a great time with it. So we just want more and more and more of them. I don't think there's anyone on the Strange New Worlds cast where I look at them and I go, I could do with less of you. I'm only ever going, I want more of this character and more of that character.
Although, let's hear Cranky's opinions on Pelia.
Now, the character in general, I have no issues with. It's a decent character, and it's it fits in. I don't know. It's just that voice.
Is it the accent? I mean, I've heard a lot of people talk about the accent is hard to get into.
Not necessarily. The accent. It's hard to understand a few of the things she says, but it's the whispering and the sort of the croakiness that makes it awkward and hard. That's what gets me. You get the loud explosions and all the fancy noises that are going on, and then she's whispering quietly, and you can't hear her.
I mean, that could be related to a sound. I mean,
that's also a bit of an issue with Mbenga because of the way that he's putting on Mbenga's accent.
Yeah. He also has a very strong accent for, and I'll say this gently, but anglicised people such as us, our ears are not tuned to that accent. You know, that is.
And I do understand that. For many people, I speak with an accent. I speak with a very country...
you're very West Country, aren't you? Yeah,
a very country accent.
Yeah. But speaking of Pelia and Una, let's go to that conversation because we do have a little bit of Una development here because I think a lot of people's complaints with Una are we get like one episode from season 1 and we get one episode from season 1 and we don't get a whole lot else, and that is a shame because I think of all the legacy characters, she is the one we want to know more about, and we are being drip fed things here. And we get more of her with her interaction with Pelia here, which is nice, but it does sort of paint her more as a stick in the mud, and it is nice to see that relationship develop with Pelia in the end, sort of just going like, oh yeah, I gave you a C, you were crap. Like, I kind of love that moment when she turned around and goes like, oh, you were one of my best students. No, you just want to hear that, you're shit.
That's what she said about Hemma, yeah.
Yeah, oh, that's right.
Hilarious.
Hemma, yeah.
I absolutely don't believe that that's true. I'm pretty sure Hemma was probably one of her best students, but she said that just to make her go nuts. Like, what the fuck are you talking about?
She said, I'm only saying that because he's dead. He was actually average.
He's so mid. I called him Lieutenant Mid in my head.
Then she said, look at where he got to.
Yeah.
After that.
Yeah.
I think that's a nice little life lesson as well. Like for people that sort of go through school, and in our country we have exams called GCSEs, and like people do their GCSEs, and like me, you do middling things, and then it just goes to show that after that point you can still do amazing things. I didn't. I'm still middling and terrible, but hey.
No. So one of my favorite things about Pike is a little character detail from season 2 of Discovery, and it's that he has a failing grade in astrophysics. And it's just a wonderfully humanizing thing. And hearing that Una also has a C in maintenance. But guess what? She has a C. Pike has a fail. But that bothers her more than Pike is bothered about his grade. And I feel like that's a really great illustration of the characters.
Una is Lisa Simpson, isn't she? All but playing the saxophone. She's the exact same character. Like, she's smug, she's pride, she's a little bit of arrogance in there, but she thinks she should be the best. Like, I can see that more.
Yeah,
my issue with the Una development, is
go for it.
When we do, like, we did get a little bit of Una in this episode, but it's based. She's developing another character. Her character's developing another character. It's not her. It's the focus isn't on her, even though we're getting a little bit of Una development.
You're spending more time on Pelia than Una herself. Yeah, no, I get that. Yeah.
I feel like you do a pretty decent job of illustrating who they are by contrast, because Pelia is chaos, she's disorder, she's emotion, she's I'm going to do what I feel is right because of my gut instinct.
She's impulse.
Yes, exactly. And then it's it's McCoy versus Spock. It's the exact same conflict.
Yeah, kind of is.
And Una is cold. She's logical. I am managerial. I am. You follow my instructions to the letter, and that is consistent with her characterization throughout Stranger Worlds and also in Discovery. Like when we meet her in Discovery season 2, she's like basically pulling in all these favors. She's the one that everyone goes to for. Get things in order, get people marching to their correct spaces, get me this ship ready by this date. She's very good at managerial tasks, and that's because she has a very strict timetable. And to be fair, I bet you, if you're not someone like Pelia, who is used to being queen of your own domain, I trust her guts, it's a case of, if you follow her, she's probably great to work with. She's probably very quick to hand out praise if you do a good job. Very good at making sure you know exactly what you need to be doing and when you need to be doing it by. And clear goals, which is important in a managerial sort of position. But to Pelia, she's like, "Oh, you're gonna fucking kill any kind of fun I'm gonna have on this ship, aren't you?" And it's like that's an easy conflict. And by showcasing that over a few different scenes, I feel like you get a much more idea of what she's like in a professional context, which is interesting. Like to think about what these characters are like on a professional basis, because if you think about it, this is a conflict that happens all the time on Star Trek Reddit, where they talk about whether or not Jellicoe or Riker was in the right in Chain of Command, and so often those conversations come down to whether or not you think Starfleet is a military or not, and like whether or not you think that Jellicoe's managerial style is like, and that's a really interesting conversation to have. So seeing it brought up in this context, I thought was interesting, and that using that to illustrate character. But to be fair, I have talked about in the past about how I'm very willing to read into characters and like infer my own sort of reading. So I can absolutely see why that might not have landed for people.
There's something in that. There is something in having a character with enough wiggle room that it can inspire everyone. Like you can see yourself in a character that is maybe not so one focused. Like I know some people will look at Jellicoe and go, well, I can see my regimented self in there, but maybe I can see my more looser self in Riker, which is what makes Chain of Command such a good episode, because you're seeing two sides of a psyche, essentially, and that's you know, that's why people criticize Star Trek alien races, because they tend to be very one focus around, you know, Klingons are around your honor, the Ferengi are around your capitalism, but it could also work in character archetypes as well, and in the story. So no, I can definitely see that. I can't forget which point I was going to move along to now. I thought about it and you completely distracted me. I'm not going to get onto Kirk yet. There's one more thing I want to get before we get to Kirk. And no, it's not that. I've already forgotten it.
While you're thinking about that, then
go on.
Pelia, is it Pelia?
Pelia.
Belia. Pelia.
Okay. Oh, okay. Okay. I like the fact that they made out, like, obviously she's been on Earth a long time, she's been around humans a long time. They're showing that she understands humans and how they work, and she can push the right buttons and poke them in the right places, get the right reaction. I like that they're doing that a little bit. That's that kind of
way. She's got a little bit of that Guinan, I've been experiencing your race for so long that I now have the insight into your psyche. And so even though she comes across as very childish and very, I'm going to do things that annoy you because it's fun, there's always an underlying logic. Yeah, exactly. He knows what buttons to press that will push people in the right direction and what would be a dick move. Like, she says that thing about Hema to Uhura, and it's like, partly that's the case that I think she wants to kind of push her to, I'm going to be a catalyzing presence. I'm going to push you to be something a bit more different, a bit more independent. Because a lot of the time, for some people, especially if they're a bit more sort of like passive people, you need someone to push them by being like a polar opposite. They like push you away like a magnet type thing. Not just attraction,
it seems like they're being a dick, but then the outcome that they're aiming for is for it to work out good.
Absolutely, yeah. And that's why I kind of enjoyed like the conversation she has with Una in the shuttlecraft, where it's like, I totally understand what you're doing, and I'm gonna let you work it out by having a go at me. But in the end, we all know what this is about, actually. And there's that like quiet moment of understanding. And I want to call out again. I called this out last episode, and I have to say it again. I absolutely love that we've had multiple episodes of just female-led senior officers, and they are just talking about themselves and their relationships. And it's like, the Bechdel test and all that lot is a bit of an outdated measure, but I still think of it every time. It's the case of, are there two female characters who have a conversation in the story that is not about a man? And this one passes it with the flying colours because it's actually just
the whole series
Una and Kelly are talking about themselves.
Does.
Yeah.
Like,
well, Strange New Worlds is doing a lot better job of it, because like last episode it was Una, it was Uhura, Ortegas, and Chapel in the shuttle, and they were just talking. They were talking about Spock, but there's also a case of we were talking about Ortegas' command style, and we're talking about the risk that Chapel wants to take, and all these different things. Like, I love seeing that balance and a strong female cast. This is such a good list of like female performers.
It goes back
the best like TNG.
There's a phrase from he is problematic. Joss Whedon, very problematic person. Pretty much blacklisted, but he did say one thing profound, which maybe is not so profound when you get the context, but someone says like, well, how do you write women? He goes, well, I don't write women, I just write people. And he just says like, you don't write women as women, or you don't write men as men, you just write people and let the script do the work, and like, okay, he ends up being a bit of a perv and a creep, but that does still stand unfortunately that still does stand as an accurate statement. Like, the best way you can pass that Bechdel test is don't think about that kind of stuff. Just treat them as characters that need motivation to move through a scene that isn't related to.
Well, I think it does require a bit of self-consciousness and self-awareness.
Yeah, maybe that is why he's overcompensating, but they are.
Absolutely.
Okay, let's go. Let's address the Shatner in the room and talk about. We have now seen the real Captain Kirk. Could he please beam over or stand up? Could he please beam up? There we go. That's the phrase.
Please beam up.
Please beam up. So we've finally seen Paul Wesley enacting a real Captain Kirk, not an alternate reality, not a lost reality. No, this is actually the real Lieutenant Kirk, now First Officer of the Farragut, which I mentioned I don't have an issue with. He's the youngest First Officer in the fleet. That tracks, and he is now here helping. Like, I like the pretense that Sam invited him over onto the ship to show him the ship. Sam gets pissy and leaves, and Kirk's just like, I got nothing better to do. Fuck it, I might as well just interfere.
To be fair, like if I had the opportunity, if I was a ambition-led officer like Kirk, and I had the opportunity to have swan around on the flagship for a while, I would absolutely spend that time in the bar making connections, because that's the smart career move.
I was wandering around just thinking, like, I'm going to blow this ship up in about 20 years.
So
lovely ship. Can't wait to crash it.
Yeah.
We're going to do things to the ship. You don't understand. So I love Paul Wesley, and I've been like an advocate. When I first saw him in Quality of Mercy, I was like, okay, I need to feel my way around it. A few more watches. Yeah. But every time I've seen him since, I'm like, no, this was a good choice. And it's like, I can absolutely understand everyone's trepidation. Like, oh, you got the Vampire Diaries guy? Like, that doesn't seem like the kind of guy you get for James C. fucking Kirk. But especially this episode, I feel like completely sells like, no, they made absolutely the right choice. He has the charisma. He has the intelligence. He has that flirtatious edge that doesn't come across as creepy.
Smarm.
He has a bit of smarm.
Yeah.
He has that machismo a little bit when he's interacting. He has that little bit of, I'm going to be a fucking dick, but in like a fun way. He is a very multi-layered character. He makes sense as a human being. And you even get to see a bit of that vulnerability, which you often didn't get to see with Shatner, because Shatner was so often, I'm not going to allow myself to be vulnerable in certain ways. Like, the script says I have to be vulnerable here, so I have to be. But Wesley's very good at showcasing that in that conversation he has with Lon in the corridor about his dad, which is, you know, the conversation he has with Sam about their father, and then the conversation he has with Lon about his father. That's a really interesting insight into his character. And just like with episode 5, where a lot of the 2009 movie informs like Spock's childhood, because it's essentially the same. What does Jim Kirk say about his father? Oh, he spent his entire life helping out other people and not being there for me.
Yeah.
What does Kelvin George Kirk do? Oh, he spent his entire life being there for other people and not being there for me because he died saving other people. Yeah, and it's really interesting seeing these two things running in parallel.
It's cool. It's really like I think I said about this on the watch too. It is. They have been so careful, and they've been right to be careful. Like, they've shown a lot of Kirk, and a lot of people. And I know there are some people that are still on the thing that saying like, well, we shouldn't be seeing Kirk at all, not this soon. But I think if they're going,
I was very against it.
No, and we were all trepidatious. Everyone was like, even after Quality of Mercy, I'm still just like, oh, do we need this to happen? But now I've seen what they've done and how they've done it, I'm kind of all for it, because Quality of Mercy, we got to see an alternate universe Kirk and introduce us gently to the character in a different way. We knew that this wasn't Kirk, this was a different version of Kirk, and okay, we get used to that. This gets us introduced into Paul Wesley as the character. Then we get Tomorrow and Tomorrow and Tomorrow with La'an and another alternative Kirk, and we get to see a lot more of him. We get him to see the main driving of the plot. We get to see what Paul Wesley's acting style is like with this version. And then finally, we get the real Kirk. We get introduced to... We're now familiar with Paul Wesley and his interpretation of this character. And now we get to see it in real. We've had the practice runs. We've had the lead up into it. And now we're not just being dropped with this guy says, oh, hi, not like in a Chris Pine way, who has to prove himself straight from the off front by...
Which could be really intimidating. Yeah.
Which is really intimidating. But I mean, obviously Chris Pine is great. I love Chris Pine's Kirk. It's really fun. But this is definitely done in a very clever way that we're introduced to it gradually in a kind of... We've gotten used to seeing this face for first, because faces are everything. Like when you're recasting someone, like we had with Uhura and Chapel, we're introduced to their face first. Now we've got their characters down. Now we have Kirk as a character and Paul Wesley as that character introduced to us. We now see the real Kirk, and he can now embellish some of the Kirkisms he's taken from his own performance and brought them alongside this now Prime Universe interpretation, and it works really well. I think it's really clever. I know other may disagree, and that's fine, but I think it's very clever, and he plays it so well. I think it's really good. I'm kind of like I am now all that people. I'm just like, maybe they could do TOS in about 5 years' time. Maybe I wouldn't be against that as much as I was a year ago, perhaps.
Yeah, Kirk's definitely working now. I was one of those people that when we first found out Kirk was going to be in Strange New Worlds, I was like,
everyone felt it. We were all just like, oh, do you really? Come on.
Yeah. But I mean, it was the time travel episode where they went back to Earth, La'an and Kirk. That one really, it set it for me, and it kind of went, okay, this guy kind of works. And this episode, he was really good. I enjoyed him. I don't know if I'd want to see a TOS. Yeah. I mean, like we said in the stream, if they can do like a prequel to TOS, maybe a little series. Room for that. Yeah, where they show how Scotty gets on the Enterprise, they show how Sulu and Chekhov get on the Enterprise, and they all meet and they become friends. Because TOS starts obviously after the Cage. That's it. They're all a crew. Well, obviously not Chekhov, but the rest of them are a crew, and they've been together. So if they can do the little bit, showing.
Like I said this during the watch along, but you see what they've done with Uhura and Chapel and even Kirk, in this series of expanded characters that were people that were just sitting, people who were sitting behind Shatner, Nimoy, and Kelly, for the whole 3 seasons, and see what they've done with Uhura here.
TOS Lower Decks.
Yeah, exactly. But imagine we got this treatment with Sulu, with Chekhov, with somebody else. With Mitchell, Gary Mitchell.
Obviously, we need to see to see Deputy Chief Engineer DeSalle. Obviously,
exactly. But the other characters. But
I want to pick up on a point that you made, Idle, which is that there's a thing I love to do with characters, which is introducing multiple versions of the character, separated by dimensions or by time or whatever, and it allows you to examine what is the essential truth of that person. Because there's obviously going to be a commonality to them, what are the things that are common to every version of this character? And by showing us all these different versions of Kirk, you go, okay, that's different, that's different, that's different. What's the commonality? And you start to go, oh, he's just a charming son of a bitch who thinks he knows who thinks he knows everything. And most of the time he does. And that's a charming thing, that it allows you to worm its way into your good graces. And you miss him when he dies, and you go, you know what, maybe he was right instead of Pike here. And so you kind of wear down your natural, I don't want to see Kirk, I'm here for Pike and everything. And you go, and it turns you from, I don't ever want to see a TOS prequel, I don't want to see anyone other than Shatner or Pine playing this character, to someone like Cranky being like, you know what, maybe there's room for your TOS thing. And it's the fact that they managed to work us all from, oh god, you're not doing Kirk, to this, is a sign that it's working. It's really, really smart. But
I'm interested to see what they do because in was the last episode where they went to the planet with they said about it's the 5-year mission, and it had been 5 years since they previously went to that planet.
I think they're
on
the
Rigel 7. I think that's episode 4.
So we're in the final year of their 5-year mission.
I think Pike has 2 5-year missions. I'm pretty sure he's had a couple of spells.
So I'll be interested to see what they do with this second fight. At the end of this season, that's going to be the end of their 5-year mission. What are they going to do with the second 5-year mission? How's that going to play out? And how does it play into the original series? Because I think that's got to involve Pike in his accident, and
there is some stuff there. I think with the time crystals and Pike's event, what we've elaborated in season 1. I think they're going to slip some very elaborate rug from under us with the whole menagerie situation and Pike's ultimate resolution. I think there's something going to happen there. But anyway, regardless, Kirk is Paul Wesley's Kirk has definitely sold me out. Sorry, go on, Stars.
Yeah.
Well, let's talk about the better Kirk brother. Let's talk about Sam.
Sam and Kirk. Oh my, Sam and James, what a combo. I remark
fucking love
that
Sam.
I would watch a Shuttlepod 1 style episode, which is the two of them in a shuttle just bitching the whole way through. I think that would make a very good episode.
Yeah, because like for context, like I think the actor's name is like Dan Jeannot or something like that.
Yeah.
And my first experience with him was he played the main character in Assassin's Creed Unity, and I hated that character. He was awful. Yeah, he was Arno Dornian, and it's like I hated that character. He was an absolute milksop asshole. I hated him. So when I saw him turn up in here, and then it's like, oh, he's just a weirdo. He's just a goofy little guy. He's just a weirdo with a mustache who like wants to like sit in his lab with his little dinosaur skeletons. And get hit by eggs and like walk away when Lon tells him to fuck off. Like he's just a weirdo. And then you get to this episode, and suddenly there's this deep, really compelling well of like family drama.
Oh my god!
And he immediately meets Paul Wesley, and it's like a cross counter of like they're actually kind of like equal and opposite forces of like personality here. Like Sam is
they did
a lot
this
less confident, but he's still strong.
They did this in about 10 minutes, like with about or less than that of screen time. Most of this episode is Uhura, but they've all this stuff we're talking about with Kirk and Sam and stuff like that was minute part of the episode, and look how much we're raving about it.
But anyone who's grown up with a brother, I don't know if either of you two have got brothers, you know what you see what they're doing, and you know exactly what's happening.
Mm-hmm.
You can feel it. It brings back those memories. Like when I see my brother, you know, we don't talk a lot, but as soon as I see him, it brings back all that stuff. You look at each other in that specific way that you know
one's expecting
irritates him. Yeah.
No, you pick up the relationship exactly where you left it off. Is exactly what it is. And like that bit at the end with like fucking Sam and his eyebrows, and
good.
Jim just no selling it. Like you're such a fucking asshole, Jim. And it's like, I would be annoyed if I was Sam. But here's the thing: is I'm being kind of generous to Jim here, and I'm thinking that maybe he's trying to intentionally push Sam so that he isn't as reliant on his father's approval of what he's doing. He's trying to like
that way,
push him away a bit for his own good. And I'd be interested to see if this comes to anything, because by the time of TOS, by the time of Operation Annihilate, like Sam, I don't think is on an active posting. I don't think he's even part of Starfleet anymore, is he?
Don't think so. I think he's gone off to, was it Denver?
Like be a civilian posting, I think. Yeah, didn't even call him. I'm not sure if he's even Starfleet anymore. But he's obviously left the flagship, and it's like, I'm wondering if they're going to delve into that, and I really want to see more of this relationship, because his and like Paul Wesley's like chemistry was excellent.
Well, is that going to be because Kirk comes onto the Enterprise and he decides he has to move away?
Maybe.
And that could bring up all kinds of resentment of like, you couldn't just like sit on your own ship and think you had to take the flagship. You had to take the ship that I'm on when you know we don't get along and I define myself and have these problems. Like that could be a real big swell of emotion and like drama there. I'm really interested to see if they go into that.
What if?
A lot of
Here's a. Oh, we're gonna be talking this. This is probably our longest one. But what if, like, and I've got a feeling this might actually happen. But what if something happens to Una, and Kirk ends up joining the Enterprise crew as first officer, and then that's how he gets the captaincy? Because there's no reason you'd get the captaincy just out of the blue. Without, because the Farragut doesn't sound like it's the most amazing ship. He comes onto the Enterprise and goes, wow, look at this, nothing's falling off the walls, like EPS grids aren't showing everywhere, this is a luxury, look at this bar. And he comes like, it's like,
so if I recall,
the Farragut,
he was captain in the alternate episode, but I believe in canon he took command during the Dicronium cloud incident in Tycho 4.
No, I don't think he took command. I think he was just there when it happened, and that was 2 years for
because
canon.
Wasn't he when he gave the order for the phasers or something like that? Was it
maybe? Well, the captain got killed, so maybe. I mean, that could have accelerated his chances to be first officer, and hence why he's the youngest person in the fleet. To assume that position. But I could very much see them bringing on Paul Wesley. I
could see it.
If it's just me, it can't just be. I haven't even got words for this. It can't just be me, but I'm very impressed. Like I am with this Kirk. It's so good. Let's speed on, because we have spent quite a long time talking about this episode, and Paul Uhura, focus of the episode, has barely got any of it. Let's talk about best and worst moments. Gentlemen, please. I'm going to start with Cranky, our guest this week. Your best and worst moment, please.
I think best moment, just for the shock and awe of it, was Zombie Hammer.
Oh my god, yes.
That was beautiful. That was a beautiful moment.
That
You saw it go,
makeup
"Whoa!"
was so good.
Yeah, it looked really good. Really, really good. If I had a second moment, it would just be Kurt's moment.
Wait. Don't steal someone else's second
Let him. Come on.
I'll stick with Hammer. Worst moment, I think, is probably... Oh, we pressed the stop button. It didn't work. Let's just fire 8 torpedoes and destroy the station.
Let's go over that a bit. I mean, I give props to. No, we haven't actually spoken the fact that Bruce Horrick came back for the episode, and for people wondering, this was actually filmed before season 1 aired. So, like, this is before there was no fan demands like, oh, we love Hammer, and people are like, oh, bring him back. No, this all happened before. This is always planned in the original, but great to see Bruce Horrick come back, and great to see Hammer again because my heart still beats for Valio Beta, but it was really good, but. Yeah, I have to agree with your last point, with your worst moment, and that, it did seem a bit sudden at the end there, didn't it? All of a sudden,
it was like, we're at the end of the episode, let's just destroy it.
I get that Pike is trusting, like he's trusting of his officers, but I think we spoke about this in the Resurgence thing, Stars, when you were saying trust but verify. Like we need some information rather than just saying like, oh yeah, fire all the torpedoes for just the fact you can send some episodes like your Deanna Troi.
It seemed a bit far-fetched.
It was a bit, yeah. Stars, best and worst moment.
I'm gonna be greedy and I'm gonna have 2 bests. I don't care.
Son of a bitch.
Stars, why do you get to have 2? Because I've been here every goddamn week and I deserve to get 2 of them.
Yeah.
Damn right. So my first one is just Sam. I love Sam. I think that what this has done is turn William Shatner with a mustache into a compelling character that I want to see every week, and I love it. Like the fact that that's what that character used to be, and now he's a character of substance that I'm invested in, is it's a testament to the strength of a prequel done right. Is you start to care about things that didn't matter before. And the second part is I really want to give props just to like the whole scene between Uhura and Kirk in her quarters, where he's talking about confronting death and not letting death win, and her expressing her grief and what her grief has done, not just in terms of like losing her parents, but losing all of her memories of them to the point where I can't even look at them without feeling just overwhelmed and feeling worse than I did when they died, because I've lost everything before that point as well. And it's like such a strong scene, and it's like it would have been so easy to overplay it, but as I was watching her during that scene, it's like she doesn't break down into tears. It takes her so long for her to actually start crying. She just holds it in, and it's such a wonderful expression of that grief. In terms of worst, I would probably just say that this is kind of a general season 2 thing, but give me more Una. I want a more Una focus. I think we are
had quite a bit in this episode as well.
Yeah, we had a good bit of it, but it was like it's a bit of a thing. And I was talking about how it illuminates the character, but I want another character study. I think she's a really compelling character. She's got so many more stories to tell. And like, I would love to see a episode where she gets to come into conflict with Pike, and they don't agree on everything for once. That'd be really interesting.
Yeah. Probably about Patel.
Like, she's a woman of strong opinions. Yeah, that'd be interesting. Well,
Rebecca Romaine is a great actress.
She really is.
She is. Yeah, I loved her Mystique. Yeah. And yeah, like so in general that and the bit with the station didn't annoy me as much. I was like, you're basically stuffing aliens into a blender to make your cargo faster. Like, put an end to that. You can always rebuild later. That's what it is.
Wait for the dinosaurs to die and turn into oil before you burn them.
No, stuff the Velociraptor into your gas tank and hit start. Go. But yeah, I can see why that would annoy you. It doesn't annoy me as much as you guys, but I can totally understand why that would go. Idle, best and worst.
Wow. I mean, you guys haven't even talked about like the fact that Spock turned around and went frustrating, and we had the moment where he met Kirk for the first time. I was so happy that was the moment. Like, it wasn't just a kind of, oh, here's Lieutenant Spock, he's my first officer, a pleasure, Jim, and they just meet like that. No, it's talking about Sam as like, oh, you find him, and Spock just interjects out of the blue, frustrating, and then Uhura is the one to get to meet them, to say, oh yeah, James, this is Spock, and then they sit down and have a speak.
Matchmaker Uhura.
Literally, and then they sit and have a chat, and there's no special fanfare. There's no like massive music, like oh my god, this is the moment they speak. No, they're just talking about how much they hate Jim's brother. Like,
I mean, they kind of as they shook hands, the way the camera was
there was a
was
bit
kind
of
of like,
poignancy to it.
and you kind of go yes,
a little bit,
Yeah.
but it was definitely you weren't expecting that Spock moment might as well have been a jump scare in a horror movie, because it was just like it just came out of like you didn't expect it to happen. It's just like frustrating, and all of a sudden Spock's there, and you're just like, oh my god, it's happening! It's actually happening. They're meeting, and it was done very cool. I loved that moment.
Very
It was, and then they just sit and chat, and like now they're getting to know each other. Now they have the reporter to call back on, and there may have been something in that conversation to go like, are we lovers now? Yeah, we are. My worst moment is I am gonna have to
Chapel.
yes.
They've only just got together, and now he's met Kirk.
She doesn't know it, but it's already sunk.
It's already over.
That was the catalyst. It wasn't Cyborg. No. It was James Kirk. Of course it was. No, worst moment. I'm gonna have to do the rare thing and take same as Cranky's as well. I think that the fact that Uhura just shouted and went, "No, there's aliens in that nebula," and Pike went, "Fire all the torpedoes," and like agreed with her, and just sort of like without kind of going like, "Can we where's the scans? Can we get Sam Kirk up here to verify?" And him go, "I've got the readings right here. There's alien life. I corroborated it." No, just torpedoes.
Well,
and
even name a
disable it.
Yeah, we have to assume that Sam called ahead to the bridge because they were talking over the comms, and they said, "I got the theory." It would have been nice to see Spock just do a scan and tune his filter to see it.
Just a little extra step to kind of go that before, because
or like we said when we were watching, like Dan said on Discord, if Pike could have said, "Oh, we're too close to the Gorn border, we need to destroy this station, we can't let it go into their hands." Fair enough, go for it, destroy it.
A little extra.
Totally.
Yeah. Those there.
Something.
I'm not going to get too hung up over it. It's not like the worst thing to have happened everywhere.
No.
It was there to expedite the plot. And you got Celia good to just say like photon torpedoes. She got to go like, I'm cool. Let's do that. And that's fine. I'm not. It's not my worst moment ever, but it's probably like my least favorite moment of the episode. But I think that brings us nicely. Stars. What is our rating criteria for this episode?
Gentlemen, how many of Sam Kirk's emotive eyebrows out of 10 would you like to give this episode?
Yeah, I can go with that.
Excuse me.
I was hoping it was going to be zombie hammers. How many zombie hammers out of 10?
I always like to go for the left field pick.
Yeah, that's good.
I can go with that. That's totally fine.
I was thinking also like how many of Uhura's undrugged Saurian brandies, but there we are. That's good. She just took that and left him. That's how put off from Jim Kirk she was. Okay, Cranky, what are you going to... And chat, by the way, if you're there, give us your ratings. We will accumulate them for the final result while we're talking about this. Cranky, what is your rating, please?
I think I'm going to go for... I'm torn between sort of 6 and 7ish. I think I'm going to lean more towards 7.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
I'm going to go... I'll go 6.5.
6.5. Ooh, that's quite... Okay.
But it's partly because it was so much better than the last episode for me. So it felt really good.
What would you have rated... Like, just out of interest, what would you have rated Charades?
2.
Wow. What?
Yeah,
I'm not putting that on the spreadsheet.
Maybe 2.5. Maybe 2.5.
Shit, wow. You've become the most hated person on the internet right now.
I just found it was poor writing. It was a cheap shot.
Okay, Stars.
I'm gonna have to blow your ass out here, Cranky. I give it an 8.5. This is an easy 8.5 for me. I was kind of tempted to give it a 9, but you guys have kind of talked me down with the explanation of the plot at the end there. But I think this masterfully blends all of the different character development that I wanted to see. It completely sold me on Jim Kirk. I really like where they're taking Sam's character. Uhura's development is excellent. I really liked where they're taking Spock and Chapel, where we're going to see that developing in the background. The only marks against it are, the explanation of the plot at the end, the fact that it's a fairly standard Star Trek plot, and the lack of Una development is a bit of a shame. So I feel like that kind of knocks it down a few points. But I feel this is a really good episode. I would absolutely recommend this episode to anyone who likes
me up to a 7. I think I'm going to go for a 7.
Talk to you after a 7.
A 7 of Sam Kirk's with eyebrows.
It was when Star said about Kirk and Sam. It brought back memories of me and my brother.
Best efforts give us an 8.5.
Oh,
so my good friend Marie agrees.
I'm going to give this a 9. For what I said my faults were, it was literally 2 seconds of the plot. That was it. They rushed up there and went fire torpedoes, and then that was it. The rest of the episode was so good. I really good. There are, we've spoken about this before. There are some episodes I've sat there and kind of gone at various moments. I get my phone out and go, "Oh, what am I doing here?" That instant little moment of distraction. There was none of this in this episode. I was invested in everything of Uhura. I was invested in everything that Kirk was doing. Paul Wesley was amazing. We had great ensemble cast work. We had some good, for whatever you do, whatever you think of Pelia. I thought Pelia and Una was a great little interaction that linked in nicely with the plot. I feel this was a great episode. It is a classic. I knock it down because of that moment in the end, and also because it is a bit of a Trek trope to have aliens that only one crew member can hear. But I don't mind the fact that the only person that can hear it is the person that is the universal translator of the ship.
The actual communicator.
Yeah. Exactly, the communicator that is lost in translation. It makes sense. It is
It had to be, because it's the only person who could have put together the images into a language.
Exactly. We've got Evans of Wales says a 7 for me. 3D chess and bad deuterium signs always annoys me in Trek, although they were less badly done than usual, though. Fair enough. Kern 3 says I occur with a 9, so let me take those and average those quickly, and that gives Jack.
The one thing that you guys said is it was very TNG. It also to me felt very Voyager in the fact that it was they've come across an invisible, the invisible species. They don't know what it is. But they're killing it. It was very Voyager.
No, that makes it. Yeah. No, I get that one as well.
That's not a bad thing. Some of those episodes are quite good.
Yeah.
I think actually, Voyager established a lot of tropes along those lines more than TNG did, definitely.
Yeah, well, it codifies it does it so often. Yeah.
So chat overall gives that an oh, hang on, no, I put that in score, didn't I? I didn't mean to do that. 1 second. Need to adjust. Chat gave that an 8.1 overall. So this brings us to an 8.2, which I think is very strong. Did I do that right? Let me just check I've done this right on my spreadsheet. Oh, Cranky says 7. That's I was reading chat without thinking about it there. So 8.2, that is great. That is a good, strong Trek episode that I think you don't need a lot. I think the Previously on Trek gives you enough information to know enough. I think that is definitely a strong episode of Trek is one you can show anyone out of order and they'll go, yeah, cool, I enjoyed that. And I think this is definitely one of those. Guys, next week is Those Old Scientists. It is the Mariner Boimler coming back in time to visit Pike and crew. If you haven't seen it, there is. Oh, if you don't want to see it because of the clip as well, there is. Yeah, because of spoilers. There is a clip out there you can watch of Boimler's interactions with the crew. I cannot wait. Literally cannot wait. Evans, you're saying try not to get overhyped. I kind of am there with you.
Yeah,
I want to temper it a little bit, but.
Yeah.
Look, I've already given one episode this season a 10. I hope that this can break season one's episode. I hope I give it another 10. I want to go.
I really can't wait for it.
Is this, aside from Generations, is this the first, or is this the second proper crossover?
Deep Space Nine did the TOS crossover where they went back.
That's
in time.
True. Okay, so it will be the third proper crossover.
Yeah, I think that's the only other one.
Yeah.
Flashback.
Technically,
Flashback. Yeah, Flashback's good.
Yes, with Takei.
Yeah.
Enterprise did the Tholian thing where they kind of married up, but it wasn't really.
Well, they also had These Are the Voyages, which is also we don't like to talk about it, but it did happen.
I think in terms of true crossover, it's maybe the third or fourth.
Well, You know what? I'm going to go ahead and say that this is the first true crossover since the episodes of TNG and DS9 where they were actually having episodes like
Oh,
the one where
Birthright,
Bashir comes over Birthright. Yeah. I feel like this is the first proper because in my mind a crossover has to be currently airing shows that are currently like that. In which case, this will be the first time since the 90s, which is awesome. I love it.
Yeah.
Give me more.
Definitely, and I can't wait to work out what kind of temporal shenanigans they've come up with to get them there and why they are there. Like, is this a series
I want to see Spoimler. I want Spoimler.
Spoimler.
That's what they were calling it on set, my guy. I'm waiting for it.
Yeah, I've not watched the clip. I've not watched any spoilers. All I've seen is 2 screenshots that Idol posted on Discord, and that's as far as I've got, and that's how I want to keep it. I'd rather just watch it fresh.
Too right. Do it.
I don't.
And then you can give it a 3.
Too much.
This episode's shit.
I love you, Cranky. I love you.
Once. I hate Lower Decks. Ugh.
Yeah, fuck Lower Decks. Yeah, nah.
Love you, Cranky.
No, I think it's going to be a good one. I think it's going to be good.
I think so. Yeah, I agree.
Excellent. All right, Cranky, thank you so much for joining this week. You've been an absolute pleasure. Stars, thank you for coming on this week. Everyone in chat, thank you for joining us. We'll be back next week. I believe we'll be back on Sunday, but keep an eye on the Discord for when we're actually in the watch along and come and join us. For everyone viewing online, like and subscribe. We need all that shit. It's good, please. We're on the race to get 1,000 subscribers so we can actually put some money into charities. So, no, thank you very much. We will see you soon. We'll actually see you on Wednesday for Timelines Talks. It's coming back.
No.
Yes. Oh, no.
See tomorrow.
Tomorrow. We're actually doing Star Trek Adventures tomorrow. We are indeed.
And Cranky will also be there.
He will. He'll be here tomorrow. I'll be there. Stars will be GMing.
You can't get enough of me.
Damn right.
I really can't. I'm even meeting up with you again. Look at that. I just need more Cranky in my life. Yes, we'll be back tomorrow for Star Trek Adventures, and then we'll be back on Wednesday for Timelines Talks, the triumphant return of episode 91, talking about Khan! And we will see you then. Ta-ra! Live long and prosper. Goodbye.
It's all set.
What's all set?
I got Hooker lined up with a dude who's gonna give him the deal of a lifetime in a new Porsche.
A Porsche? Well, maybe you should wait. You might get a better deal through the state.
Yeah?
Yeah, we just did some story on a guy who's selling stolen Porsches off a lot on Main. Real sleazy character.
What's his name?
Delvin, Kelvin,
Melvin?
Melvin?